All right, so here's your lecture. I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible because most of this information that we're going to go over went over yesterday in your labs. So, and forgive me if I'm winded. Here I am blowing air. Let's see here. We were in week 3, right? RH lecture 1. Let's look at this. All right. Just want to see what we've got here. Yep, we went over these pretty much in your notes yesterday. We went over all of that. I told you the history doesn't really matter. The D antigen is the antigen that tells you if you're Rh positive or Rh negative. It is very immunogenic, meaning that it will elicit an antibody. There is really nothing, as far as the genetics of the Rh system, we're going to talk about the Fischer race and the Wiener. Tippett, I'm really not worried about Tippett. And in fact, I'm really not worried about all 3 of these, but you do really need to know Fischer race and Wiener. It is, as of late, I'd say probably a decade or more, the genetic theory, it has flipped to this more RHD and RHCE. It's just because somebody, said, hey, I'm going to go get a PhD and I'm going to call it something different and we're going to go get published and and I'm being ugly because that's probably not true. But do not worry about this current theory, okay? We're going to focus on Fischer race and Wiener. So the Fischer race theory, like I said yesterday, has 3 loci, right? They share locations beside each other. D, you've got big C, little c. There's also something called CW, which is is rare, but you can't have it. E and little e. And then we use that nomenclature in the system. Now, the Wiener system is one locus where big R stands for Rh positive. Then the number 1 or the prime, single prime, is big C. Number 2 or double prime is E, okay, big E. Now, you do need to know how to convert between Wiener and Fischer race, but we're going to go over that ad nauseum in lab the rest of the semester. And I'm going to give you, I'll give you a worksheet on it as well. Okay, I am not going to ask you to explain cis and trans to me, and I'm just not going to do it because I've never used it since I got out of school. Your nomenclature, all right. So we've got Fischer race and Wiener are typically the nomenclature, the terminologies that we use, but we also have ISBT. And if you can remember, ISBT is that international standard that brings everything to 1 and it maintains consistency across the globe. So Fischer race, we talked about that yesterday. Talked about Wiener yesterday. Here we go. Translating. R equals D. Little r is negative. Okay, remember, D, there is no such thing as a little d. No little d's. Okay, just big D's. That's it. Little d just put there just means that there's no D there. Number 1 or single prime is big C. Number 2 or double prime is big E. Z, big Z or Y is big C, little e. 0 or no superscript is little c, little e. Yes, it is confusing as hell. I get it, okay? Whoever came up with all of this stuff, that's all they did. It's all they did. They didn't eat. They didn't take care of kids. They didn't go to the park. They didn't wash clothes. They probably didn't wash their butt. This is all they did. Okay, but you do need to be familiar with it and you need to understand it because when we look at anagrams, you're going to have to say, okay, this cell is an R2 cell, which means that it doesn't have big C. So again, I will come up with a handout to give to you. Same thing for Viner. Do not worry about Rosenfeld. Not worried about Rosenfeld. Rosenfeld basically just assigns each antigen a number. And it says RH1, RH2, RH3. RH1 would be D. RH2 would be big C. RH3 would be big E, etc. Don't worry about it. We're not going to go there. Same thing with the RH system and ISBT. So the ISBT code for big C is 004002. Don't ask me. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, this is a good example to follow on how to code between the two. Again, I will give you a worksheet and a key. Reagents used for typing, you started that the other week. We've got anti-D. That is what we use. We do not type for any other RH antigen in the RH system other than D, okay, on a consistent basis. Now, we can phenotype for the other ones, and you will. We're going to phenotype next week. I'm going to have you do a typing screen next week, and I'm going to have you phenotype yourself. So I've got the Anacera so that you can find out what your RH phenotype is, which will be kind of neat. See if we've got any rare birds in the class. High protein reagents, the big issue with that is make sure that if you use a high protein reagent, it's going to tell you on the outside of the bottle. But you want to do definitely do a RH control with it to make sure that you don't have autoagglutination. Autoagglutination could happen in the form of like rouleau, or if you've got some other autoimmune condition going on. So, and we'll talk more about that in class too. All right, genotypes and phenotypes. We talked about that. The phenotype is what's expressed, what you see, the physical characteristics, where the genotype is the genetic code that programs what you're going to see. All right. We're not going to worry about the frequencies so much. I do need you to be familiar with the number of the relative frequency of RH positive, which is 85%. Okay. All right. You probably hear Leo in the background. All right, we're going to zip through this. The D antigen is the most immunogenic antigen in the RH system. That is why we type it with the ABO. If big C was the most immunogenic, guess what? We would type that one, but it's not. So D is the most immunogenic in the system. It's the most important and the most critical, which is why we include it. I'm going to stop here and come back with a week D. I'm actually going to explain the week D, and then I am in an image, and then come back and explain it here again.